What's up, everyone? Before we start, we just want to let you know about our awesome giveaway at the end of the month, where we'll be giving away $500 cash to 3 lucky subscribers. Consider this our way of giving back to you, the fans of TPS who helped to make this all possible. To be entered into the contest, all you need to do is subscribe and have your notifications on. And you've got to be commenting on our videos regularly throughout the month. So make sure you hit that bell along with liking and commenting on our videos. If you're already subscribed and have notifications on, then all you need to do is like and comment, and you'll be automatically entered into the random draw. Good luck. There are several NFL greats who are currently nearing the end of their respective careers. Some of them may choose to play another year or two, while others are likely to call it quits this offseason. It's not an easy choice for these men to make, but we're here to help them as we look into 5 NFL veterans who need to retire and 5 who should return for next season. Number 5, retire. Josh Norman. Norman was by far the NFL's best cornerback in the 2015 season. He earned Pro Bowl and first-team All-Pro nods after leading the Carolina Panthers to a 15-win season, plus a trip to Super Bowl 50, where they fell to the Denver Broncos. But Carolina's decision to rescind the franchise tag from Norman in the 2016 offseason turned out to be a disaster for both teams. Their pass defense was awful following his departure, and Norman never found his top form in Washington after signing a 5-year deal worth $75 million. After 4 unproductive seasons in Washington, Norman accepted a 1-year contract offer from the Buffalo Bills. Their head coach, Sean McDermott, was Carolina's defensive coordinator in 2015. The hope was that a reunion would help Norman return to his previous form. But Norman was a non-factor in the Bills' secondary. In 9 games, he allowed 21 completions on 32 targets per Pro Football Reference for 229 yards and a touchdown. Norman went viral for all the wrong reasons when he got stiff-armed big time by Tennessee Titans running back Derrick Henry in Week 5. Hindsight is 2020, but Carolina should have just kept the franchise tag on Norman when they had him. His departure was a colossal failure on both ends. He hasn't found success outside of Carolina. Age has also caught up to him. Add it all up, and the best bet is for Norman to just retire now. Number 5, keep playing. Jason Peters. Losing Brandon Brooks for the entire season forced the Philadelphia Eagles to play musical chairs with Jason Peters. The perennial Pro Bowl offensive tackle was occasionally asked to play right guard in a miserable season for the Eagles. Per PFF, Peters allowed 8 sacks on the season. He didn't take any penalties, however, and he landed a respectable 67.6 overall grade. Don't blame all those sacks on him, though. Carson Wentz and his knack for holding on to the ball too long obviously didn't help make things any easier for his offensive line. Peters was solid as a blocker and should be better in 2021 if the Eagles' line can stay healthy and develop some consistency, and should he decide to keep playing. The Eagles shook up their coaching staff and will undergo some drastic roster changes next season. Even if that means moving on from Peters, he has to consider playing elsewhere in 2021. Lots of teams could use his leadership and experience. Peters has good reason to give it at least 1 more season before he heads to Canton, don't you think? Number 4, retire. Frank Gore. Yeah, everybody here loves and admires Frank Gore. It's an absolutely amazing thing to see him play into his late 30s in an era where so many big-name running backs are finished before they hit the big 3-0. But Gore is no longer a number 1 running back, and honestly, it's been kind of sad to see his talents and efforts go to waste on some very bad football teams in recent years. With a hapless New York Jets club, Gore had 653 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad for a 37-year-old on a 2-win team. Gore has averaged less than 4 yards per carry in 5 of his last 6 seasons. And sadly, no legitimate Super Bowl contender is gonna sign him at this point. Is it really worth signing 1-year deals with terrible teams these days? At this point, Gore is probably better off just calling it a career. He has already secured his spot in the Hall of Fame after all. Number 4, keep playing. Adrian Peterson. Absolutely amazing. Peterson looked basically finished with an extremely unproductive 2017 season, which he split with the New Orleans Saints and Arizona Cardinals. Then he hit 1,042 rushing yards with Washington in 2018 and 898 yards in his age 34 2019 campaign. Despite his tremendous production in the backfield, AP wasn't brought back by Washington for 2020. Their loss was the Detroit Lions' gain, however, as Peterson continued to show that age is just a number. AP led the Lions with 604 rushing yards, and he added 7 touchdowns. Clearly, this guy can still play as a number 2 running back in a committee situation. The big playability is still there, and as long as his reps are limited, Peterson can bolster any team's rushing game. Lots of clubs could use this ageless wonder one way or another, and Peterson should still have that desire to chase a Super Bowl. Peterson is better than the vast majority of number 2 running backs in the NFL. Don't tell us that nobody needs him. We want to see Peterson play until he truly has nothing left.
Number 3, retire. LeSean McCoy. During his heyday, LeSean McCoy was easily one of the league's most exciting running backs to watch. Few defenders had an answer for his shiftiness, and no one could dash through the snow like Shady. But in recent years, his play has seen an obvious decline. McCoy's last 1,000-yard season was back in 2017, when he put up 1,138 rushing yards, 448 receiving yards, and 8 total touchdowns as a member of the Bills. Since then, however, his play has hit a steep decline. He had one more disappointing season in Buffalo before making the move to Kansas City in 2019, where he'd win the first Super Bowl of his career as a member of the Chiefs. But despite earning that elusive championship ring, McCoy played just one snap throughout the entire postseason with the team. Then in 2020, he moved on to play with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who also won a Super Bowl. That's right, after failing to win a single playoff game through the first 10 years of his NFL career, Shady has now won back-to-back Lombardi trophies, despite receiving 0 carries in either postseason. So with 2 rings to go along with his 6 Pro Bowls and 2 first-team All-Pro appearances, now is probably the perfect time for Shady to hang him up and go out a back-to-back champ. A la John Elway. He clearly has nothing left in the tank, and he's got his rings. What more is there for McCoy to play for? The answer is nothing, which is why retirement should be an easy choice for Shady at this point in his career.
Number 3, keep playing. Andrew Whitworth. The Los Angeles Rams had a phenomenal turnaround season in year 4 under Sean McVay, snagging 10 wins in a wildcard berth. They upset the Seattle Seahawks on wildcard weekend before falling to the top-seeded Green Bay Packers in the divisional round. The play of ageless tackle Andrew Whitworth was instrumental in the Rams' bounce-back year. He missed 7 games due to injury, but Whitworth was an absolute force when healthy. Pro Football Focus graded him at 88.7 on the year. Whitworth allowed 0 sacks, and he helped McVay's powerful rushing offense return to prominence. Whitworth will be 39 years old at the start of the 2021 season, but he plays like he's 15 years younger. This guy still has lots of football left. And with his Rams in Super Bowl contention, it would be awesome to see the beloved Whitworth give it another go. We'd all love to see him get that elusive Super Bowl ring. Number 2, retire. Ben Roethlisberger. The indications are that Roethlisberger will play in 2021. But in reality, the logical move would be for number 7 to retire now. Injuries and age have caught up to Roethlisberger. That much is obvious. He was effective, but not exactly Pro Bowl caliber during the Steelers' perfect 11-0 start. But his physical limitations were clearly exposed down the final stretch and into the playoffs, as the team lost 5 of their last 6 contests. At this point, it's hard to envision Big Ben somehow leading the Steelers back to the playoffs in 2021. With a bad salary cap situation, the Steelers figured to lose Juju Smith-Schuster, Bud Dupree, and several other key starters. That should only make things more difficult on Roethlisberger, not to mention the fact that he'll still have to deal with the up-and-coming Ravens and Browns in a difficult AFC North division. Big Ben should really just walk away gracefully. Take those 2 Super Bowl rings and your many division titles and let the franchise find its successor. A spot in the Hall of Fame is a guarantee, but there's no reason to keep going when Father Time has called your number. Number 2, keep playing. Larry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald endured his worst statistical season yet in 2020. He set career lows in catches with 54, in receiving yards with 409, and in TD receptions with 1. Of course, age, the fact that he missed 3 games, and the arrival of superstar DeAndre Hopkins can be cited as factors for Fitzgerald's regression. Fitz's production suggests that the wise move would be to call it quits. But the way we look at it, why do it now? The Cardinals have a promising future with the explosive Kyler Murray, Hopkins, and Christian Kirk. Their defense will rebound big time in 2021 with inevitable improvement from Isaiah Simmons and the return of a healthy Chandler Jones. Fitzgerald can still work as a number 3 receiver behind Hopkins and Kirk. He'll continue to win those one-on-one matchups when Murray's top 2 options are covered. Fitz has been instrumental in Murray's rapid growth and development, so why should he retire now? Murray looked poised for an MVP-like season in year 3, and Fitzgerald can benefit from it. This Arizona team can totally compete for a Super Bowl next year. So, here's hoping that Fitzgerald gives it one last go. Number 1, retire. Drew Brees. What a sad and tough way to likely go out. Despite Brees' physical limitations at the age of 41, his New Orleans Saints looked poised for a deep run in the postseason. They won 3 of 4 games without number 9 as he recovered from fractured ribs. Once he returned, the Saints were locked in and ready to roll, until they weren't. Brees had practically nothing in the team's gut-wrenching divisional round home loss to the NFC South rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brees threw 3 costly game-changing interceptions and only 1 touchdown pass. It was not supposed to end like that. Not after the Minneapolis Miracle, the no call and overtime wildcard loss to the Minnesota Vikings in each of the last 3 postseasons. But it did. Brees clearly doesn't have much left in that arm anymore, and his team just can't seem to get those difficult playoff losses out of their systems. They continue to fall short time and time again, and with a horrid cap situation on the horizon, the Saints figured to take a massive step back in 2021. The Super Bowl window has likely closed, and Brees doesn't have the ability to be a productive quarterback any longer. Not everyone gets to walk away a Super Bowl champion like John Elway, Michael Strahan, Peyton Manning, Ray Lewis, or Jerome Bettis. It's time for Brees to call it quits. As a first ballot Hall of Famer who deserved more than 1 Super Bowl ring, you can't help but to feel for the guy. But he has to accept the fact that he just doesn't have it anymore. Time to move on. Number 1, keep playing. Tom Brady. The popular belief is that Tom Brady will continue to play in 2021, and we think that's the right decision for the GOAT. Many question whether Brady would be able to succeed outside of Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots system. Well, it appears as though Tommy Boy answered that question loud and clear for all the naysayers who thought he was destined to fail in Tampa Bay. While the Pats struggled on offense and recorded their first losing season since 2000, the year before Brady became the starter, all TB12 did in Tampa was throw for 4,633 yards and 40 touchdowns while leading the Bucs to an 11-5 record and a spot in the postseason. He finished second in the league in touchdown passes behind Aaron Rodgers, third in passing yards, and he was within the top 10 in both passer rating and adjusted QBR. Sure, he'll be 44 years old in August, but do those sound like the stats of a man who's ready to retire? Not even close. In fact, at this rate, it almost seems as though Brady is gearing up for another 10 years of dominance in the NFL. But even if it's not 10 more years for Brady, you have to think he has another season or 2 left in that body of his, don't you think? But hey, what other NFL veterans need to retire, and which ones should keep playing? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.